let's get started with this little intro. This is kind of first steps, and we're going to first continue or configure this a little bit differently. We have the sidebar here, we have a toolbar. They may not be in this same layout, but one thing I want to do is move the sidebar to the right. So let's first go to the view menu, select layout, and sidebar on right. So that moves it there, and then we can click this little notch here and just hide it because we don't need it. Whenever we need it, we can click that little vertical bar in the middle there, and that will open it up again. All right, so we have the toolbar on the left side and the sidebar, you guessed it, on the side, on the right side. And let's go also change the size of the image. The default image may be okay, but not exactly what we need. So let's go to the file menu and select new, close the current one. Let's create a new one. I'm going to go with something a little bit small-ish so that it renders fast because I'm on a very slow system. Let's go something like this. And there you go. And first thing I'll do is I'll take a snapshot of that. There's not much in this picture, but it's just the purpose here. This little icon, there's a group of mini icons in the upper right. The leftmost one is store image. That creates a snapshot. It may appear somewhere else on your screen, maybe up here. Just grab it somewhere here so you can position it. And this snapshot we can actually kill. It's not important. Just wanted to show you that step. It's important for the workflow. All right, so first thing we'll do is we'll create a gradient that goes from left to right. Right, so I want it to be dark or dark gray or black on the left side and bright on the right side. Let's clear this. Here is the erase. Right click will give you other options. We could erase to black. Let's go just with the primary color, which is currently black, and secondary color, which is currently white. So when we just click it with the left button, it uses that secondary color and erases it to black. So you can draw something and then just click here to kill that. Let's go down with the gradient. Now, fifth one from the top, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There is a gradient tool, and right click will show you several options, but by default it has that linear gradient that we want. And so we can go now and draw a gradient from left to right. You can see other gradients, they are here, and there's plenty of different gradients to choose from. Let's say if you wanted like this little ripple pattern, you could go with something like this. Let's not do that. Let's go back to the gradient with black to white and start a little bit on the inside, something like this. So we know we have some black and we know we have some white. So don't go all the way to the edge outside of the image. Stay close to the inside. So that one we may want to store. Let's go click and store image. And then the next thing we'll do is draw something else on it. And for that, I'll use a filter. We will render something. Let's go to the render menu. And there is a set of grids. And the grids will come in different sizes. We can set the distance between the grid lines. We can set how thick the grid lines are. We can set the color. I'm going to go with dark black, perhaps not completely black, so somewhere halfway in between, something like that. And then, of course, it's at the color. I need to turn this into grayscale. Let's go to the image menu. Oh, before we do that, let's go say we want to store that image too. So we have another snapshot. We can easily go back to the prior one. Just click on that or click on that. That will load these snapshots. Let's go to the image menu now. And in the image menu, grayscale. Let's just do, let's expose through the color lens. So this will give us the option to make it not completely black here on the dark lines, but kind of black, close enough, dark. Okay. And one thing that sometimes we need to do is to expand the dynamic range. This one probably won't make a difference because we do have some black pixels and we do have the white pixels on the right edge. So it has the whole dynamic range. But sometimes you don't, and so it's good to know where to find this. Under the image menu, of course, you can expand the dynamic range and then store that image. So you now have a grayscale image, and we are now going to use that as our elevation map. So let's go to the filters and transform this into, with Puppy Ray, as a 3D. Let's go to use the GPU version. This one is a little bit oldish and maybe even buggy-ish, so let's not even go to the regular CPU version. Let's go straight to the GPU version and move this thing aside. So we're looking, let's see, by default we are moving the camera And here we are. So here we have now the elevation map of those of that pattern that you see here in the lower right corner on the stored image. But we add, in this rendering, we add also some water, and you can move to the rotate camera mode. So in the preview, you can then rotate the camera. You can also, again, go back to moving the camera. With the right button, you can go down even below the ground, and a couple of other things we might want to do. This side here is very dark. It doesn't get any sunshine because the sun happens to be on my left side. Initial view was like this. The sun is here. We can look at it. We can make the sun bigger. Let's go make it, yeah, the sun size is, let's make it pretty darn big. Let's make it like this. Click on render. So now we have, but still dark here. So what we need is the skylight, global illumination. Enable that, maybe even brighter, and also change the type of sky, maybe one of those reddish. So now you see the reflections on the water. And then one more thing we might want to do is push the fog out. It's actually ending it here, but we can push the fog level down. So if we do that, we see farther into the distance. And now let's turn the camera this way. And one more thing, we'll work on the water. We'll actually move the ground up above the water. So there's those two blue buttons. The right one will scale it with the left button, will scale the ground, and then the elevation map, that is, and then this one here will move it. With the right button, you can move it up and down against the water. So that's another thing to try. And then, of course, maybe make the whole thing a better quality render. This was a preview mode. So let's see the final. I'm going to go scale it down a little bit so we see more of that water. There's different types of waters. We could do it with no water. So we just see the ground, and that looks techno. Let's use that. Let's go render it in high quality. And that's it for our first image render. And of course, once that's done, we'll click on done and store another copy. And of course, from here you might want to go to image, grab a copy into the clipboard so you have a safe copy there, or you can save it to your file systems and take it from there. Alright, so that's the first step, to work with some elevation map, something like this, and turn it into something like that. Alright, thanks for watching. Let's continue on with more.